Hello, this is Jared. I'm sitting in a King Air 350 in Rochelle, Illinois. It's kind of a cloudy day here. I fly a King Air 350 kind of as a side gig. Just do it part-time contract. My main flying job is in a Citation XLS. But anyway, thought I'd do a little video out here in Rochelle. I'd like to talk about the Sigma male concept. I just ran into this a few days ago. Actually, I was on YouTube and I found a video that talked about 12 unmistakable signs you are a Sigma male. And so yeah, I'll take a look at this, see if I'm one of these guys. And I watched the video and I was like, wow, this is actually really cool, because I actually really did relate to almost everything on their list of what they said signifies a Sigma male. So I did a little bit of research and learn about this Sigma male thing. Dictionary.com defines the Sigma male as a slang term used in masculinist subcultures for a popular, successful, but highly independent and self-reliant man, or a lone wolf, which is definitely me. I like to go things on my own most of the time. So yeah, anyway, this really resonated with me. What's funny though is in on the internet, the subculture people that really talk about this Sigma male thing, they identify people like Keanu Reeves or fantasy characters like Batman as the iconic Sigma male, but I am definitely not Keanu Reeves, nor am I Batman. So that being the case, I think that what some of these guys have done is they've gone to great lengths to analyze the characteristics of these fantasy superheroes and made a list. The problem with that is real life is not going to be the same as what you see on TV or the movies. So there is definitely a few things that I would definitely take exception to identifying as a Sigma male. And we'll talk about that. I've made a list here of, let me see here. I got 130 characteristics of the Sigma male. Now, I think before I get into this list, I want to make a few clarifications. The Sigma male has a very, very lively sense of cost-benefit analysis. Everything the Sigma male does is with the idea of what is going to bring me and others the best value, the best benefit, and the best outcome, and what will be the cost for that. And so it's not like you're necessarily born as this Sigma male guy. It just means that you figured out how to be smart. You figured out how to approach life in an intelligent way. And so I think that as I go through these, a lot of these should make sense. And it's not like I'm trying to say that I'm Mr. Macho Man or Mr. Perfect or anything, but I think that these are characteristics that all men should strive for. And I mean, these are things that I have sought to emulate in my life, just because I think I've kept my eyes open. I'm trying to be smart about what I do. Obviously I'm a pilot. I fly a King Air 350. I fly a Citation XLS. I've got 2 jobs. I'm successful. I've got a wife and kids, and things are working out pretty well. So, this has worked pretty good for me. So let's dive into this here. Number 1, the Sigma male treats everyone the same regardless of social status, which is actually kind of, some of my employers that I've worked for over the years flying these fancy airplanes kind of drives them nuts, because they want me to be very obsequious when I fly some of these high profile clients, you're flying Senator so and so. I've flown Governor DeSantis. I've had some pretty important people on my airplane, but I treat everybody the same. I just can't help it. I see everybody as the same, and I tend to be very personable, and that's just the way I am. I'm sorry. Well, I'm not sorry. I think that's how we all should be. So yeah, the sigma male treats everyone the same regardless of their social status. They typically don't feel the need to impress anyone. Yeah, that's kind of Hollywood. When you're working for somebody else, you want to impress your boss, definitely. But it's a calculated behavior. Number 3, they don't care much about social status. Again, that's more Hollywood. I think deep down, everybody definitely has some kind of sensitivity to that. And yet, like for me, when it comes to social status, social circles, I know that it's all skin deep. And it's just a show. And so I don't really care about it that much. But it definitely is a consideration. You got to be smart. It definitely is a consideration. Number 4, they are not impressed with hierarchy authority, hierarchy rules, or fancy hierarchical titles. Again, for me, I go to church, I go to different events, I rub shoulders with really important people, and as I get to know these high profile people, I in almost every case I realize that most of these guys are kind of dumb, and I'm really not that impressed by it. And these are just people like you and me. Yes, I respect authority. You have to, you should, but I'm not overawed by it, not at all. I've got no problem talking with anybody. I don't care what your title is or how important you think you are. We're all just people. Number 5, they view and treat everyone as equals. They view and treat everyone with respect. They have a strong sense of fairness and justice. They will readily defend the weak and innocent. That's definitely Hollywood. I mean, it's true. It's true. If I see someone getting picked on, I'm definitely going to step in. That defines anyone who is a real true man. A real true man is going to be a protector wherever he is, whenever it's needed, however it's needed. That's just what you do. So there you go. Number 9, they believe everyone has something of value to offer, regardless of background or social markers. That's a great plot line in a story. I love it when you got someone who is, Mr. Commando, or he's the king, or he's someone who in his world is very, very important, and yet he's gonna get off his horse. He's gonna go help the peasant girl who just dropped her stuff or whatever. He's gonna help out everybody, and he's gonna listen. He's gonna be a good listener and realize that everybody has value to offer. Everybody has intrinsic value just because of the divine nature of man. Number 10, they are not overtly competitive and try not to compare themselves with others. They believe people should be judged on merit. They are often not too vocal, but are usually articulate public speakers. They are often introverted and are not attracted to group settings or social occasions. They have a strong moral code and always strive to do what is right. Again, that goes back to the cost-benefit analysis. Doing what's right, doing what is good, simply means you're going to do that which has the most value, the most benefit, and the best outcome. It makes sense. It's not like these guys are saints. They just know what makes sense, and they understand that doing good makes sense. It's the best thing to do. And, usually they have a very lively conscience, but not necessarily. Not necessarily. They're careful about what they share with others. That's not as much me. I'm often a little bit too eager to share things with people, just because I like to connect and to bond, especially when I'm one-on-one. Just the way I am. I believe in networking, and I just have an intrinsic instinct within me to get to know people and to bond, just because I want to be able to help people. That's just a need that I have, to connect and to help people. I want to do out as much as I can, and it's hard to find opportunities sometimes to do that. Let me see here. They're often viewed as reserved and stoic. Yeah, that's definitely me. Most people think I'm very reserved and stoic. I don't say much, especially in group settings. They do not readily volunteer information that might be used against them. Very careful people. They're sensitive to the needs, thoughts, and feelings of others, but they can be very blunt. They understand that often bluntness is really what is needed, and that's actually the most kind thing you can do very often, is to be blunt. They are deep thinkers. They are very philosophical and intellectually sophisticated. That's always been very intrinsic to my nature. I love to talk to anybody about deep topics. The sophisticated part, that kind of goes with education. But I definitely enjoy deep thinking and philosophical conversations, and I try to bring to it as much sophistication as I can, but I'm not a PhD. Probably will never be. Anyway, they take their time getting to know others before passing judgment. They are often perceived as aloof and unapproachable, but are actually very willing to discuss their perspectives with others. They believe that wise men seek first to understand before seeking to be understood. That's a little saying someone told me many years ago. A wise man first seeks to understand before being understood. They're often perceived as proud and unbendable, but are actually very willing to consider alternative perspectives. I have to say, most of my life, a lot of people they've definitely thought they think that Jared's a very proud, egotistical guy. I don't really think I am. I think I have confidence. I think I know what I'm talking about a lot of the time, but I'm very willing to entertain other perspectives and to learn from anybody. So anyway, when you have that confidence, it's very, very easily misinterpreted as being proud or vain or arrogant. As a pilot, you kind of want your pilot to have on the scale tip a little bit more towards the proud and arrogant side. You want the guy flying the plane to really feel like he knows what he's doing and can get out of a tight spot. All right. They might not say much, but they are highly aware of the world around them. Yep. They are very observant and tend to notice subtle cues and social dynamics. They often notice small details that others miss. They prefer to stay out of the limelight and observe. That's definitely me. I do not like being on the stage. Definitely not. But I also enjoy public speaking. If I really have something I'm passionate about saying, it's actually quite thrilling. I enjoy that. Let me see here. They are quality leaders, but do not seek leadership. They prefer to let others lead. That is true probably about 90% of the time. There are some Sigma males who definitely gravitate towards leadership. They're very effective leaders. They are highly valued by those in leadership and are often asked for advice. If someone knows you're a deep thinker and you're a straight shooter, you've got experience and confidence, those who are in leadership are going to hopefully notice that. They're going to value that, and occasionally they'll come and ask you for your perspective. They take charge when the situation requires it. Yep, they do. They lead by example and by inspiring others. They are proactive and helpful. They want everyone to succeed and to be the best they can be. They're going to do what they can to help other people succeed and to be the best they can be. They really care about other people. They really do. They often have different ways of thinking and do not follow societal norms. They do not do things just because everyone else is doing them. That is definitely for sure. They tend to stand out. They march to the beat of their own drum. They are different. They have trouble fitting in. They are often targeted and persecuted for being different. Yeah, that was definitely me growing up, for sure. And then even in my professional life, you go and you mix with a bunch of other pilots and other professionals, and they figure out, yeah, this guy doesn't want to smoke and drink and do all this crazy, wild, immoral stuff, and so you're going to get picked on for that. And I kind of learned the hard way, years ago, trying to fit in, compromising a little bit, it actually makes it worse. It doesn't help at all. There's no such thing as compromise with evil. At least, there is such thing as compromising with evil, but it's almost never beneficial. Strictly speaking, it's never beneficial to compromise with evil. All right. They will view problems from multiple angles and consider creative solutions. They are not binary thinkers. They will consider multiple solutions and choose what is best. Goes back to that what is good definition. What is good is that which has the most value, the most benefit, and the best outcome. And so for them, life's not about, what's true, false, or multiple choice question. Pick for something on the list. No, they're going to have their own creative ideas and their own creative solutions, and they're going to do a cost-benefit analysis and do what they believe is best. And they're really going to be irritated if somebody else forces them to do something else. They are innovative and creative. They are often undervalued and misunderstood. Yes, they are. They have a vocabulary that is all their own. Shallow thinkers do not understand them. In other words, they're pretty misunderstood by most people, because most people, unfortunately, are shallow thinkers. Sad but true. When they meet similar individuals, other Sigma males, when they meet similar individuals, they recognize their value and give them added respect. So in my circle of friends, I think one of the reasons that I've been attracted to other males, intellectually as friends, of course, it's because I've recognized them as having these qualities, and when you recognize that and you value that, you're going to respect that, and you're going to give those people a lot of extra respect. and a lot of extra trust because you value and understand who and what they are. They often have trouble respecting authority figures who lack merit. For sure. I mean, especially at church, in religion, and politics, you see a lot of leaders who lack merit, and it's really hard to respect that. Although they are not rebellious, they dislike being told what to do. They dislike one-size-fits-all rules, protocols, and solutions. They believe in doing what makes sense. For instance, in aviation, when you're flying an airplane, if the co-pilot asks you why you did that, you better have a logical explanation. Everything you do should make sense. There should be a good reason for it. It should be well thought out. They will never completely conform with standard operating procedures. Again, not always the best fit in the corporate environment. In aviation, we have SOPs, standard operating procedures. I have to confess, I've never been 100% on following the SOPs. Some things just don't make sense, and I'm not going to do it. That's why I've never flown for the airlines. I've always flown smaller jets and turboprops. And then you do a line check once a year, and you just got to know what the rules are and make sure that you toe the line when you really have to. All right, where was I? They dislike authority figures giving orders that restrict their freedom and effectiveness. They dislike others making decisions for them. They tend to resist following orders they do not agree with. When I was younger, I considered joining the military. You know, the military's got pretty cool airplanes, and that'd be a great way to pay for it, get some great experience. But I was pretty sure that if I did that, I'd probably, get in trouble for insubordination, court-martialed, and throw it out. So I never did it. I've always wanted to. I've always been really attracted to the military, and I actually really identify in a big way with military narratives and stories and stuff, but I've never done it and probably never will. But I definitely respect what those men and those women do in the line of duty. All right. So yeah, they tend to resist following orders they do not agree with. They dislike being micromanaged. That's one nice thing about my job is I'm the captain. I'm out here. I'm kind of my own boss. Most of the time, I am my own boss, and that's great. They take great offense to their fundamental rights and freedoms being curtailed or violated. So as citizens, as statesmen, they have a very, very lively sense of what those fundamental rights and freedoms are, and they really get upset when they see those sacred things being curtailed or violated. They will readily question the status quo rather than blindly following the herd. For sure. When it comes to making decisions, they rely on their own judgment, instincts, and moral codes. Drives me nuts when I go and I ask some leader, what's the solution to this? What are your thoughts? And all they do is open up the handbook. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. Don't you have a brain? Just can't we talk about what makes sense here instead of just deferring to the handbook constantly? That really kills respect in my book. I mean, for sure, it's good to know what the rules are and take a look at that, but let's deal with that which really makes sense and is the best thing to do. I've got kind of a pet peeve on that one, for sure. Where were we? They are willing to put trust in others where trust is merited. Authority figures who lack merit do not like them. They can lead to tension. This can lead to tension and conflict. You definitely see that in the movies. The movies love to show that. They will not change their opinions just to please others. Very, very stubborn in that way. They'll change their opinion if it makes sense, but not just to make somebody else happy. While they do not seek trouble, they will not hesitate to stand their ground if necessary. This has really puzzled some of my friends because they see happy-go-lucky Jared, the smile on his face, acting goofy all the time, and then all of a sudden I get very serious, and I can be very confrontational if that's the right thing to do. I've got no problem with confrontation. I've got no problem with somebody else calling me on the mat. In fact, I'll thank them for it, especially if they're right. Call me on the mat all day long, especially if you really have something valuable to say. Do it. I love you for it. They are autonomous thinkers and do not mind going against the grain. They have an independent spirit and make their own path in life. They avoid large group settings. We've talked about that. They do not like loud noise and chaos. I definitely do not like loud noise and chaos. They do not require validation from being the center of attention. They prefer one-on-one or small group settings where they can get to know people on a deeper level. That is definitely me. I hate large groups. I would far rather be one-on-one or with just, 2 or 3 other people and have a deep, intimate conversation. They prefer solitude and space where they can think more clearly. Large group settings sometimes seem overwhelming, and so they do not stick around very long. That's the introvert in them. They like to recharge in solitude or in the great outdoors. While they might not be the life of the party, they can still be great contributors to any conversation. That's been frustrating for me because I've often been a part of conversations, but because I'm not, extrovertive, I have a hard time asserting myself into a conversation where I really have something to say. And that can be tough. Their deep perspectives and thoughtful insights often add valuable insight to any discussion. They are unapologetically themselves. They are who they are what they are, and they're not going to apologize for it. They're trying to be the best they can be. They embrace their differences and are confident in their individuality. They do not apologize for their unique perspectives or unconventional way of doing things. They typically do not feel the need to explain themselves unless asked to do so. They typically do not try to impress others or show off. I mean, if they're 20 years old and they're trying to impress a girl, they might show off a little bit, but you never know. Although they do care what others think, they will not compromise on principle just to be accepted by others. They care, but they're not going to compromise principle. They often do not hesitate telling others they are being foolish or doing wrong. They can be very direct. They don't mind saying uncomplimentary things now and then. They are direct and upfront with their moral perspectives and value judgments. They strive to appreciate the beauty and uniqueness of all living things. They are introverted but adapt to any situation. They have that confidence. They can do it. They can appear extroverted if they wish to. I can definitely pretend to be an extrovert, but I'm not at all. They can easily adapt to any social setting. They have confidence and poise. They do not shy away from difficult conversations or confrontations. They may use intimidation if it suits them, especially if they're trying to defend somebody or defend a principle. They use their experiences in human interactions to study human nature. They are students of civics and human predictability. They often gather facts, study trends, and note details for planning purposes. They are strategists and problem solvers. They value their privacy and autonomy. They value their freedom and independence. They do not like being tied down unnecessarily. Some of them resist commitment, especially marital commitment. That wasn't me. I don't have a problem with that, but some of them definitely do. They're confident and they have strength, and they are easily misinterpreted for that. Their confidence and strength is misinterpreted as arrogance and ego. They often prefer to work alone, but not always. With larger, more complex tasks, they will integrate or lead a team, but they prefer working solo. They will likely grow irritated with long explanations or by being bombarded by the opinions of others. They do not like being rushed. They value peace and quiet and space to think. They enjoy creativity and mediums of self-expression. They enjoy experimentation and testing new ideas. They often enjoy making things. They are often entrepreneurs or business leaders. As introverts, they do not like crowds, but they very much value close friends. They're very loyal to their friends and companions. They are often viewed as loners or lone wolves, but they do value companionship, especially when it is the right companionship. They are generally careful to treat others with respect and kindness. Those who are closest to them know they can be counted on when needed for help or advice. They do not take relationships lightly. They are committed and dependable. They are very protective of family and friends and anyone they may encounter needing protection. Though they may seem quiet and distant, they are actually very caring and compassionate once you get to know them. They dislike small talk and shallow conversations. They dislike boring or unproductive conversations. I could definitely comment on that. I really hate talking about things that are just really shallow and don't matter. They are usually very sober and serious and want to talk about serious things that really matter. They enjoy discussing new ideas and deep topics. They enjoy intellectual conversations. They enjoy challenging conversations with challenging people. They enjoy and value being challenged. They like a good fight, meaning a difficult debate. They may be amused by gossip, but they are offended by speculative or hurtful gossip. They can be very playful and fun when circumstances are appropriate. They very much value education and continuing their education. They love learning. They are assiduous readers. They enjoy discovering new skills and talents and continue to develop their skills and talents. They don't need anyone to entertain them. They're quite good at entertaining themselves. They love special projects, creative activities, and challenges. They believe in the pursuit of excellence. Often they're overachievers in some way. They are committed to doing good and being good. They are committed to doing that which brings the most value, the most benefit, and the best outcome. We've talked about that. They endeavor to reject all forms of vanity, false realities, and useless efforts. They believe in truth. They are seekers of truth. So that, my friend, is the ideal, the optimized Sigma male. I am not saying that I'm Mr. Macho at all that kind of stuff, but that definitely is what I relate to and what I try to be. If you talk about the ideal man, that's what I think the ideal man should strive to be. A seeker of truth and someone who lives that truth the best he can. So I'm going to leave a link to this on this video. There's a link to my website. I'm going to post the text for what I've shared, and I hope that you'll hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and I'll see you next time.